Okay, so I've been playing Phantasy Star Online 2 for a little over 30 hours, I think actually about 31, and I figured I'd just do a quick little, not really a review, more of a just general thoughts video. I know the game's been out for about 7, 8 years in Japan, so obviously stuff's not going to change a whole lot, but I figured I'd just throw in my 2 cents. Just for reference though, I did play this obviously on Xbox with a controller. And my only other real MMO experience is about a year or two on Final Fantasy 14 on PC. So that might sway me a little bit, but figured I'd let you guys know about that. But this is the first thing I kind of want to talk about. I have a bit of a thing here, which is weird, whatever. Anyways, first thing I wanted to talk about was combat, which I feel like it's probably one of the game's strong suits. It overall feels pretty good. Stuff flows really well. There's a bit of a combo system. I don't really use it a lot, but I know some people do, and it seems to flow really well. You can basically string together almost anything. I think almost every skill you can. I'm not sure about some of the magic because I don't play a magic class. Don't really play magic classes in games, but at least in Gunner, every single skill can pretty much combo with each other, and I think the dodges, almost everything but your basic dodge, can actually combo, which is really cool. It pretty much lets you make your own combos up. That said though, the game does feel a little bit clunky. The pilot or whatever your large slot hotbar is an absolute pain in the rear to use because you actually have to select the individual skills with the D-pad and then use the thumbsticks to use them, which, as you might see in the gameplay, isn't exactly the fastest thing in the world. And the skills as well, which I will talk about a little bit later in the video as well. The skills are completely on D-drop for the most part. There's a few you can get through the skill tree, but I would say probably 90% of your skills, at least offensively, will just be random drops, which isn't the most satisfying thing on the planet. Final thing I have to say though, some enemies are an absolute pain in the rear. Because unlike 14, where a lot of attacks usually have like a task bar or some type of indicator of what the attack's gonna do in its area of effect. Now, this game doesn't really. It kind of reminds me of like actual, I guess, action RPGs a bit would be the term. But it's all fine and dandy except for some enemies, most of the bosses, don't have very great health. Some of them do, but a lot of attacks on the more physical mobs, it's pretty much just dodge or you're getting chunked for 3/4 of your health. And it's really not that fun feeling. At the combat though, gearing, which is probably going to be the most positive part of this video, and I do want to just say right now, I enjoyed the game. I just had some gripes. I say as I'm half picking it apart, but gearing overall, don't have an issue with it. It's pretty well implemented. Every class gets about 3 different types of weapons they can use. Weapons have elements and perks and stuff. Perks are stat boost, bonus attacks, things like poisoning enemies, bonus XP, higher drop rates. Armor's okay. The armor gearing, at least through leveling process, I'm only about 48 right now. So far, I've been using mostly the same armor throughout the game. Armor drops are not very good, but outside of that, armor itself, pretty good. You get rings as well. Rings are not RNG drops like basically everything else in the game. You actually have to go gather the resources to make them, but they're guaranteed. It's not like, oh, you bring this stuff back, you get a random ring, you get the ring you want. And they can be upgraded through XP, sort of like leveling, with more resources, which gets a bit of a pain. I'll talk about that later, but there's actually a lot of effects. Things from just simple stat boost to, I know Gunna gets one that actually lets them dodge in a few extra directions, which is actually pretty good. And upgrading the gear, as I said, it's not bad. There is some inconsistency. Everything, as far as I'm aware, needs an item called grinders, but after that is where it gets different. Weapons actually require additional weapons to upgrade. Armor only requires the grinders, and rings require resources that you have to go out and gather. which brings me over to the gameplay loop, which is honestly probably one of the weakest points of the game. I finished all the expeditions by level 40, which I would say is probably, at least to me, seems like the bulk of the game. And with the level cap being 75, and I think right now in Japan it's about 95, I pretty much finished the bulk of the game, only about halfway through leveling. Story as well, because like I said, I came from 14. 14 is a very story-based MMO, probably one of the best stories I've ever played. Story in Phantasy Star Online 2, did a few levels, could care less. I have heard though the rewards are pretty good, so there is that. But the gameplay loop is basically do your exploration. Once you get those done, you start doing advanced quests, which are pretty much high-level single-party versions of expeditions, and urgent quests, which are time-limited special. They're not quite expeditions, but they're fun. They're actually really fun. I'd actually say urgent quests are probably some of the best gameplay in the game. Having 12 people just mowing down ads, and even sometimes bosses, it's really stupidly satisfying. And the rewards are also pretty good. And other than the emergency events, which depending on when this is happening in the video, because recording crap. But yeah, you might have seen it. They're pretty fun. They can add a lot of variety, but especially if you saw the boss I fought there, oh man, sometimes they get annoying. I've actually had one that was like capture and then no, what was it? It was I had to kill a boss, but then after the boss died, it swapped over to trying to capture the boss, but you can't capture the boss if it's dead. That's pretty rare, but pretty much the point of that is they can get overwhelming because I have, especially in urgent quest, seen 3 or 4 going on at once. Things like you gotta dodge this enemy's attack, but you also have to fight a boss, but then you also have to clear ads. And it just sometimes gets overwhelming, but I mean, for the most part, I would say the emergency events are, I mean, they're pretty good. They definitely add more variety. Um, the only other real thing I guess to talk about is monetization. For those who don't know, the game is a free-to-play game, and there is a premium stuff, but it is not required. I haven't, I don't personally have it, but I have looked at some of the benefits, and it does add a lot more stuff that you, I guess not more content that you can do, but it does give you some more quality of life stuff. Other than that, though, most microtransactions are pretty much just convenience or cosmetic. It actually reminds me a lot of 14 in that case. Although there is a player-to-player shop, you do not have to pay money to buy some characters. You only have to use in-game currency. But if you want to sell stuff to other players, you actually have to buy a pass or get lucky through the RNG drop stuff, through the lottery system or whatever it's called, to actually be able to sell to other players, which is really weird. It's really, really weird. But the stuff you can buy in the shop, I think most stuff in the game can be sold. Because I know I bought one of the Founder Edition outfits from someone. So I would say probably almost everything in the game can be bought or sold. But to sell, you do need to actually pay real money, not to buy though. Buying is purely in-game currency, and here I don't think you can actually directly buy gear with real money. You can buy drop rate boosters, but at the same time, that's not a guarantee. So I guess all that's left is just kind of some rapid fire stuff that didn't really fit into the other stuff. So character creator, it's really good. It can be as basic as you want. It can be almost as advanced as you want. It's really good. Audio, which I'm probably going to say this way too many times. My script, I think it mentions audio about 10, 12 times throughout this. The audio is so flippin' loud. I think I have everything turned down to like the low 30s, and some of the stuff is still almost too loud. It's ridiculous how loud the game is. Gearing, I know I said gearing is mostly good, but I will say the 40 through 50 range, which is, at least to me, seems like the transition from the game, isn't very good. Armor drops up to this point are pretty much non-existent, so your armor might be a little bit outdated if you haven't been upgrading it. Weapons are in a funky spot because you're not getting weapons that are dropping much better than what you already have. but at the same time, what you already have, unless you have it very upgraded, is kind of weak. It's kind of a weird in between of where you have good gear and bad gear. Don't actually start getting good gear until like the next tier, which is 50 to 75. So it feels a bit weird. I actually feel a bit underpowered. It might be with the skill tree though, because I think this is down a bit further in my thing, but skill trees are an absolute pain in the ass. Like, actually, if you mess up your skill tree, you're screwed unless you either pay money or there's a balance patch in the near future, because you can't for free fix refund skill points. It's very annoying, especially since supposedly from what I've seen, from what little I've seen online, skill trees make up a pretty big part of your damage output, and me personally, I think I wasted like 9-10 skill points and you only get around 80 or so, which on paper doesn't seem like much, but in practice, that's a lot of skill points I could have put into something else way more beneficial, which I think might go back to the whole 40 to 50 gearing part. Yeah, the menus as well, which is gets to the downside, but menus, bit clunky. Once you get used to them, you can get through them really fast, but I still struggle to find a handful of things, which can be a bit annoying. Skills, once again, I'm bringing this up, completely RNG. They are based on level, as in there's different levels of the skills that are still, once again, completely RNG. You can buy them from other players on the shop, but there's nothing really satisfying with either having to buy the skills or just hoping they drop. Because I know there's some skills that are really good for Gunner that I just can't use because they're half the level of my other skills. It's just so annoying. And this kind of brings me to, I think, about my final point, which is less about the game and more about, I guess, the community. There's like no guides. Not saying that like literally absolutely zero guides exist, but an updated guide is so hard to find. Like, I'm just now starting to see like wide scale mass accepted guides that are up to date coming out, and it's a little bit frustrating because the game doesn't exactly explain everything to you, which in some cases is fine, but it does make the game feel a bit slow and clunky at times. And I guess I forgot one other thing, cosmetics. Cosmetics in this game are okay. I'm not gonna say they're amazing or horrible, that's extremely subjective. But a lot of the cosmetics, and this is something that is a little bit weird, pretty much every cosmetic in the game is unlocked per character, unless you get multiple versions of it, in which case they will be unlocked for your entire account, which is a little bit weird since cosmetics, I'd say 9 out of 10 cosmetics are purely RNG drops from like Battle Pass stuff, which I forgot to mention in the microtransaction part crap. There is a Battle Pass. There is a Battle Pass, a Season Pass, or whatever you want to call it. That does exist. And I'm trying to see, because I have, like I said, I have a little script thing. I'm trying to see if there's anything I missed. I think I covered everything. So, yeah, I guess that's just kind of me rambling on for far too long about the game. You guys enjoyed this style of video, drop a like, and I'm actually interested to see what you guys actually think about the game, so comment down below. I'd like to see what everyone else thinks, maybe get a decent conversation started. And if you want to see some other content, like more gameplay wise, I do also upload gameplay videos, and I do have a plan for some Final Fantasy 14 photography stuff coming up that's turning out to be, at least in my opinion, pretty dang good. So if you guys want to see that, subscribe and keep an eye out on that. And yeah, thanks for watching. And if I had to loop the gameplay because I didn't have enough, terribly sorry about that. But yeah, I think that's enough rambling for one day. I'll see you guys in the next one.